He's six.
From parts unknown, the Northeast, recipient of the 2019 Sexiest Reefer Alive, the man who put in influencer, Mr. Scott Crow. And to his right, the godfather of social media interactions, influencing, the man who transitioned us from the days of the forums to what we know today, Mr. David Hammontree, Reef to Reef. Somebody raise it. Is there anybody in this room that does not have a Reef to Reef account? Not a single one here. Guys, you're in for a treat. David, Scott, they're going to double team this and give you guys a presentation about social media influencing and all that good stuff that happens on the web. Big, huge hand of applause, or round of applause, or whatever you want. Give them some love.
Thank you.
What is happening? Can you feel the energy in the room? I know you feel it. I got a question for you guys. How many retailers are in here? 1, 2. Oh yeah, we got a good amount. We got manufacturers. You got a pretty good diversity in here. I'm gonna let David go first.
Yep.
Let us start us
That's
thing.
good. So what we're going to talk about today, I think is good for the hobbyist and you that are in the industry professionally. First, do you guys have closed captioning for the screens? Because he talks really fast and I'm Southern, so you might not be able to understand me that well, but do your best and lean in. But I want to give a shout out to Richard, the Waterbox, and the whole Waterbox team. Thank you for having me, and I know Scott's grateful to be here as well. So thank you for having us. It's great to be here with you. Got a shout out to Krabs McJones, one of our moderators on Reef to Reef. I told him I would do it live, so I had to get that out of the way. But real quickly, want to say a little bit about myself since we're talking about community. I mean, community is about knowing one another. And so I'm a pastor and also the owner of Reef to Reef. So I feel like I'm really good at bringing people together and raising funds. So we've got people here together. So the first thing I'd like to do is take up an offering. Did you bring your wallets and things? We take credit cards as well. So you can laugh there. You can relax a little bit, all right? Can you hear me all right? Can you hear me okay? Okay, great. So talking about community here, I'm a husband to my beautiful wife, Tanya. She's sitting there almost 23 years. Tanya, please raise your hand. We have a 21-year-old daughter. She's a junior in college. She's very jealous that we're here, and she's not. We have a 12-year-old cat named we call Whooshy, a 1-year-old golden doodle who goes by the name Mr. Bingley, and don't forget the Mr. And of course, I personally have a 400-gallon reef aquarium with all my many fishy friends. So I'm a hobbyist first and foremost, and I think that's the case with you. I was just a crazy reefer, addicted to corals and community and just coming together, and it birthed into this thing for me called Reef to Reef, and it's been an amazing journey. I know talking with you, same with Ocean State Aquatics.
Same thing with me. Like, I have a diehard passion. I love what I do. I eat, sleep,
You can't
breathe it.
tell.
You can't. But I absolutely love it. And I love the community behind it, all right? That's one of the things called social media, because it's a social event. You're sharing your love, your passion with everyone, the entire world. In fact, people would have killed to have this, what we can do now,
Absolutely.
10 years ago.
Absolutely.
We're living in the most exciting time now to be in this, because even the hobbyists can show it off, right? And people see those aquariums like, that is awesome. They get their friends involved. And then as a manufacturer or a retailer, you have the opportunity to show off everything you're working on.
I want to say amen there. Yeah. That's really what I wanted to say. So I don't want this to be a big commercial about Reef to Reef, and I know he doesn't about Ocean State Aquatics, but we got to give you some data and stuff like that. So Reef to Reef, we started in 2006, and had I known what I knew then, I would think that we couldn't get to where we are now. So that was a good thing that I didn't understand how it all worked. But we started in 2006. Daily we have 30,000 users making up 50,000 sessions and 215,000 or so page views every day. Good news, reefing is alive and well today. We had a great year in 2018, our best ever, and then in 2019, we upped that. We had 2.8 million users, which was up 23% from 2018. We had 2.7 million new users, up from 24%, 12.9 million sessions, and then 62 million page views in 2019, up 24% from 2018. We have over 116,000 registered members. So reefing is alive and well, and it's alive and well in the social media community. And you know it, man, because he's the Facebook guy, the Instagram, and things like that. So do you want to say something in regards to that?
Yeah, so our company started, we've been around for about 6 years. We started out of the spare bedroom of my apartment, you know, little vats hanging out, things everywhere. We went to a garage. What we did was we recorded everything from starting the company from nothing and just kept recording it and bringing people involved into it. And it was amazing for how much support we got, not just locally, but from everyone, from here, from there. And it's so cool because you're building this community and people love seeing it move forward with you.
That's good. And that reminded me, Scott, of when we started Reef to Reef. We had these two guys that came and had this little setup in their basement or garage. I can't remember exactly, but it was really small. And their names were Lou and Vic, and that was Worldwide Corals. And that's how they started. And as you know, they have become a great success story in this industry. So what you're saying is amazing, how we have all grown together, and in large part due to social media. And that's how we as hobbyists and those in the industry grow our businesses and grow our education together. And so what is community and social media? And I wanted to touch on that real quick. Community is a feeling of fellowship with others as a result of sharing common attitudes, interests, and goals. What is social media? It's websites and applications that enable users to create and share content or to participate in social network. So put those two things together and you have a platform that brings people together and enables them to interact with one another. And then one more time, put them together with a hobby twist and you get what we call reefing social media, a platform that brings crazy, addicted, awesome reefers together to talk about their aquariums, fish, and corals. And that's what I consider you, man.
Yeah.
A crazy, awesome, addicted reefer. And that's what you are at heart, man. When anybody that knows Scott, you know, what is his call sign? Come on.
I'm just loud.
Woo!
I'm just
right? That's what he does. When you see him, you get a big woo from him. And the first time I saw you online, man, and Facebook was like, I got to get connected with this guy because, you know, he's just, his attitude is just infectious.
Yeah, we have a good time. And that's the biggest thing you get into is different type of platforms. Whether you're on a forum, whether you're on, I'm telling you, TikTok right now is killing it. Instagram, Facebook, you have so many different platforms to share that information. And that's one of the things I like about Reef to Reef. Reef to Reef really realized how to expand the forums to different platforms. They weren't focused on one platform. They learned how to expand it to different things. Like we talk about content, right? Content, but controlling the context to the room. I'm not going to do the same thing I'm doing on Instagram that I'm doing on Facebook. I'm not doing the same thing I'm doing on Facebook, on YouTube. A person that is on YouTube might not even watch Instagram or Facebook. Same thing, Instagram might only be Instagram. You're playing to the different rooms.
Yeah, that's a good point. And we learned from the beginning, like, we were really honestly about, you know, spreading, you know, the love of the hobby and information and education. And therefore, we didn't limit what our members and users shared. You know, we didn't say you couldn't talk about this forum and that forum and this other forum. We wanted to step out of the mold of a forum and become an actual community. And I feel like that we've done that. And you mentioned, you know, all the different avenues of social media. And I would say, and I didn't even talk to you about this, but I'd say with the top four, it's pretty easy that you have Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and you have forums, and that's in no particular order. So I just wanted to, you know, hit my next point here in a social media reefing community, and that's what I know. Okay, that's what I know is forums. This guy's the Facebook, the YouTube, the Instagram. So I'll talk to my expertise, if you will, and he can talk to his. But so what makes up a good community? And I was thinking about this is what makes up a good or what makes up a good forum or any platform for reefing. And if you think about a community in general where you live, like, why do you live there? You know what I mean? Like, what makes that a good community, a good place to live? If there's a lot of murders going on there and a lot of break into your house and stuff, like, you really don't want to live there. You know, if there's a lot of violence, you don't want to live there. If it's an area that is giving back to you and you are able to give back to it, it becomes a good community. And first, you have good citizens, and that's what we consider our members. They care about one another. They're willing to help you move into your house. My neighbor, he's good at like fixing lawnmowers and stuff like that. These are the members who are ready to help you fix your skimmer or dial it in, you know, and they're willing to answer your what type of green wavy algae is this question that's been asked for, you know, the 10,000th time, and you're okay with that, and they're okay with that, and we have a ton of these members. What else makes up a good community is a good fire department and emergency services, and I love analogies. These are the people who are ready. They're there to help you put the fire out, right? And in Reef to Reef, we have the tank emergency forum. Okay, these are the people that's there to answer my power just went out. What do I do? You know, or my tank has sprung a leak. What should I do? And I know, thinking about these things in community, and I was talking with Scott earlier, like, man, you have a lot of those aspects, you know, in your local fish store. And we were talking about that. Can you touch on some of that?
Yeah, so like same thing with the local fish store. When we get into what I love about forums is I can search for information. That's very few things. We can't do that on a lot of other social media platforms. But at your local LFS, you can get information that you're looking for. And that's really important. And the other thing is too, on the internet, the amazing world of the internet is different information, right? You have this person's telling you this thing, this person's telling you this thing. I'm not saying this is wrong or this wrong. Two different ways of doing it with two different outcomes, but they're both going for what it is. But when you go to an LFS and you find a way it works out for you to really build that happy equilibrium inside your aquarium system, that's what it really comes down to. And sharing that with the community as much as possible.
Very good. And you know, progressing with what makes a good community is a good mayor and good council members, man. You don't want them to be, you know, scrupulous or whatever, but they listen to you, they respond to the needs of the community, and for us that's administration. In a community you need good administration and those that make decisions for the betterment of the community. And remember, we're still talking about a social media reefing community here, and it's really important, and we're going somewhere with this talk, but what else makes up a good community? Good public works. They keep things running smooth and looking good. For us, it's the latest software, the latest tools, and trying to bring everything that's good about social media and these other platforms to a forum that is specifically created for the reef aquarium hobby. Okay, the works team keeps the place clean and organized. What else makes a good community is a good police force. Not necessarily the Tang police. Y'all know what I'm talking about there, but they're the moderators, but they're fair, they're consistent, they work as a team, they care about the community, they enforce the law that's written, and sadly at times we have to remove, you know, those people from the community who are just there to flame others and troll others, and that's a lot of, you know, sadly what the internet has become. What else makes up a good community? It's good teachers and schools. So for us, that's experienced reefers and expert contributors, like our two previous speakers. You know, so much knowledge and information and education that they've learned over the years in and through this industry. But these are members that teach from an educated and experienced standpoint. One of our favorite is over our chemistry forum is Randy Holmes Farley. And if you've been in the industry or the aquarium hobby for a while, you should know who that is. What else makes up a good community is good grocery stores and retail. For us, that's vendors and advertisers. Like when we first got started with this thing, Reef to Reef, we got a lot of flack from people just like, oh, you know, that all your platform is about selling corals and equipment and stuff like that. But for us, man, that was like our diamond in the rough, because everybody else was faux pas, if you will. Like, you know, we're about education and that's it, whatever. But to make up a good community, man, you got to have a mix of everything, community and marketplace and things like that. So a good grocery store or good vendors and advertisers, it's important to have an active and trustworthy marketplace. It's important to have vendors who will interact with the members. That's one of the things we see a lot, Scott, is people are like, wow, you know, this place is organized where we can actually come and talk to these manufacturers. We can talk to these stores, you know, one-on-one, and you know, we kind of bridge the gap there. And you know, another shameless plug for us, but you know, we have. I'm trying not to make this a big commercial, but that's what we are, is community, and so that's what we're talking about here in social media. And but we have our new marketplace that's launching really soon. It's in the testing phase, and it's a basic marketplace that will, you know, allow peer-to-peer selling of corals and things like that in a specific place, a specific way that is, you know, we believe is going to be really good for the hobby. But and then lastly, what makes up a good community is good churches and social clubs. For us, that's off-topic support. Members who will be there for one another when there's personal issues outside of the aquarium when they arise. Emotional issues, sickness, tragedy, community related efforts. How many of you in here have made friends through the hobby or the industry that are lifelong friends? Would you mind raising your hand?
Oh,
Yeah.
Me?
Absolutely.
Right.
I mean, I'm looking at you right now. But some of my best friends, Scott, do you want to talk to that?
For me, I love when we bring in community, right? So like, I can't describe this. You have fish friends, right? Everybody's got these fish friends, and then I try to go out in the real world, and I'm like, I really can't talk to these people. I really don't even know how to have a conversation. I really don't. But my fish friends, I'm like, I could talk all day.
Yep, absolutely. And it shows, man, your passion.
I love it, you know? Like, I absolutely get to do what I love every single
Tell them what you told me over here about it drying up. I mean, that's like if it dried up, you know?
It's my worst fear.
Yeah, I mean, just be open with it,
Like,
you know?
if I never want this to end, like ever, I don't want to ever have to do anything else. I never want to go back to the real world. I am living like my dream. Like, I know it sounds going to sound weird, right? I got to rewind it back a little bit. I remember when I first met David. I remember when actually almost everyone in the industry, right? Yeah. You know, I got Chris Meckley somewhere around here. I was so pumped. When I first met you, I was like, oh, do you know who you are? Like, I was beyond ecstatic because I loved it so much, because it's like you're watching these people that were in these places that I would have loved, and I'm like, I never thought I'd be at this point. So I'm so grateful to be at that point. And then to share it with people. Yeah. And when we did originally back, we got into the interviews, when I first met Sean, when I met everyone, and it just kind of grew from there. But I feel like, you know what this is really about, like social media in general is? It's about telling a story, right? Yeah. We are great storytellers. Humans love stories. That's why we love reality TV so much. We're like, this is gonna get good, it really is. But when you're talking to, like even like to you guys in the camera out there, right? I don't feel like I am just talking to randomly anybody. I feel like I'm talking to you directly. Yeah. And people are experiencing things with us, whether they're good, whether they're bad, whether I messed up. And it's cool to share that and bring people into that with you.
Absolutely. And look at you here today, man.
Just chilling, baby.
Everybody knows you now. And they're like, ooh, that's Scott. I know him. I see him on Facebook Live. But and you can talk more about that in a minute. But so, yeah, I mean, you know, the biggest thing we like to emphasize about social media and reefing is, man, like the relationships. You know, there are a few people who really don't want to meet anybody new, and they don't. But for the large part, we believe that, you know, people thrive in community, and they thrive when they know others care about them. And that's one thing that we try to do as a reefing community through Reef to Reef, and you know, I know you do as well. But like really get together and be there for one another. And you know, just you know, a concerted effort to help one another in different social situations. So, whoops. Let's see. Okay, here we go. No, I'm good. Okay. So there's positive and negative power of social media in reefing, and I know you know that. And I just wanted to mention a few of these things, and we like to poll our community and a lot of things and just see what they think. But through social media, we have the power to affect reefing in a positive and or negative way. Okay, and right now your mind's probably moving like, yeah, this is positive, but this is negative, and this is negative. But so one of the positives is quick spreading of information, right? One of the negatives is quick spreading of information. Well, It's good if it's correct information. It's bad if it's not correct information.
Yeah, I mean, what I like about it now is, in the new world, we have something called reviews on everything.
Yeah.
It's not like years ago, right?
Yeah.
You could buy hot garbage and be like, oh, this is gonna be awesome, and it did nothing. I'm like, I spent how much on this? This was like a as seen on TV thing. It really was. We don't have that. We have reviews on everything, but it also puts more on manufacturers. The manufacturer goes in knowing what it is, and they're pretty self-aware that they have to be at a certain point. But it increases and pushes the hobby to the max. You think this is where it's at now? Wait for 5 years from now.
Absolutely, and I agree. And that's one of the positives was, you know, connecting people with companies, manufacturers, and vendors, and I talked about that a little bit earlier. But I mean, you know, good or bad in some situations, you know, it holds people that need to be accountable. You know, so then, you know, what you mentioned, the reviews, that was another one of the positive. But one of the negatives is fake reviews and false reviews, and so that's what we hear a lot from is like the influencers in social media, and it's more specifically influencers in, you know, reefing. So who do you trust, and you know, who do you believe, and who's being, you know, just being paid to talk about a product and say this is a good product? So that's one thing that can make either a positive or negative impact in social media.
This is true. I also feel like, though, a lot of the influencers now, though, they get it. They understand. They're on the same way as us. They're not going to invest in a product that's just not going to work. Like Michael from AquaPros is not going to tell you something that he does not believe in. He's just not going to do that because he knows that he's going to have so many people trying this product.
Absolutely. And anybody worth their weight in salt is going to, you know, be there to tell you the truth because they're there for the long haul. So one of the negatives is, and we were accused of it, and we've played a part in it, but it's just by the sheer, you know, amount of users that use Reef to Reef. But it was marketing hype. You know, it's good and it can be a bad thing. And we've new issues where, you know, vendors would, gosh, I be talking about this? Vendors would. You know, reach out to somebody who was well-known hobbyist that had this amazing coral and say, hey, we want you to name it this super duper awesome whatever it is, and put it on Reef to Reef, and let's get it hyped up so we can get the most value we can out of it. Get some cold stares. But that's one of the negative things. But again, one of the positive things too for advertising is, man, you have a good product, you get it in front of you know, like-minded people, then it's going to sell. I
feel like for me, it's community, right? You're basing on sharing and building the industry in general, right? You want, I'll repeat this like a dead horse, but I want to make sure that you get into a tank, you take pictures, you show that tank off, then you have a friend that is not reef hobbyist, not fish related, and they're like, that is awesome. And then they want to get into it, and it's a domino effect. And especially for retailers now, it's so exciting what we can do from this. Like, I gotta say, this is the most amazing thing. We are in the mobile revolution, baby. This is where it's at. The average person watches their phone 30 times a day. Sometimes, like on a vacation scenario, something like that, it can go up to 300. You're sending them information directly to their phone. Look, Jess just tagged me in a post, like it's right there. Like, you're going directly to their cell phones. And what's even cooler about it is people get, same thing, I get to learn different people. I get to see what's going on. Do you know how many people in this room I've known way ahead of time, and I've never even met them in person? Joe's in here, and I'm like, oh my God, I look at Joe all the time, and I'm like, that is like the coolest guy ever. And he's just like, this guy's creeping on me, he really is. But it's just the point, even Ethan over here, Epic Coral. I've never met him, but I know about his store, you know, because I'm always checking, and that's what I love, is to see how people are doing this, how people are doing that, how do we invest more into this, and seeing what those guys are growing into the hobby. And I can see like certain guys that are moving forward, and I can see some guys that have kind of stepped back and not moving forward.
Absolutely.
This industry is changing very, very fast. We're seeing less and less stores because so many people are worried about, they're worried about the internet, the pricing on the internet. You can't worry about that. You are building a community that's going to be based on your, like, people loving you and what you're doing, what you have to offer, right? It's about give, 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 and then ask. Yeah. And then that's how we base everything on. And the other thing is, too, on pricing, same thing. We can be a little bit more than the average internet. We get this, but you can't be like, yo, man, what are you doing? Like, that's not going to work. You've got to be so realistic about it, but you just got to offer your customers, and I like to call them my friends. Like, I get to know everybody the best you can for them. And
I have to take your word for it on that, because that's your expertise. And
I just love it.
Yeah, it's very good. And just sitting here, you know, I got to say, I got to thank the forerunners, and I'm see Bob Fenner sitting here, and you know, the original social media, man, was like web media and you know, things like that. So, and it's awesome that it's still running today. But you know, and I'll move on to the next point unless you have something to say.
Go ahead, baby.
Oh, that was a cool little transition there. So we're talking about the family reunion, you know, the Waterbox family reunion. And I said I like analogies, so I'm going to go with this one. We're like a big reefing family reunion, okay? That's what this hobby's about, this industry's about, man. We come together, it's like seeing family, you know what I mean? And I started thinking about like a family reunion, like, you know, when you go to a family reunion, and I started thinking, you know, at a family reunion, what do you have? You have a table, man. You're all sitting at a table there. And the table in social media and reefing is it's the platform. It's the website and the app where food is consumed, or in our case, the information, the content. The question is, you know, as a community, is the table big enough for everyone? Does the table welcome everyone? The next thing you have on the table, you have the food. At a family reunion, I don't know what you guys eat up north, but we like fried chicken and potato salad and coleslaw and apple pie. And the content is good stuff, but it can be overcooked. Y'all know what I'm talking about? It can be missing ingredients, like you missed this step of the cycle. Sometimes it can just be plain old nasty, you know what I mean? My wife's cooking is very good. But there's got to be food and content on the table, right? And the better it is, the better the community will be, the better that we will grow. At a family reunion, I'm getting through this pretty quick. You have that cousin, you know what I'm talking about. You love him, but he's a show-off, right? He probably is a wealthy cousin. He's a rich cousin. He buys all the latest equipment. He has all the most colorful named corals. He's a show-off, but we need him because he has pretty pictures. And pretty pictures, I mean, everybody likes pictures and videos. But he also tries out the newest equipment for us so we don't end up wasting money. He's got to buy the newest fad, the newest thing, and he tries it out, and we get to see if it's working or not. And then you have the uncle that knows it all. These are members who may not really know it all, but they do know a lot, okay? So we do need those at our family reunion. And then you have grandma. You have grandma at the family reunion. Am I boring y'all to death? If so, take a nap. You have grandma. And grandma, what does grandma do? She's there to pick you up when you fall and you scrape your knee, right? Grandma doesn't judge you. She's going to help you get things squared away with your aquarium and get you in the right direction. She's not going to put you down for putting that tang in that 20 gallon. She's going to teach you why that it shouldn't be in there. We know the internet is full of hate. You know, there's people ready and willing to call you stupid. You don't have to beg them to do it. For wanting to put together a Finding Nemo tank. True story. I didn't tell people this for many years, but Finding Nemo is what got me in the hobby. Actually, Tanya, she wanted a Finding Nemo tank, so we went and found a store and was like, look, we want a Finding Nemo tank, turtle included. I was very young, but that is a true story. He's like, you can't have that. So we had everything else, more shottle included.
More shot.
Yeah, yeah. We learned, and you know, that's what introduced me into forums was I Googled, I need aquarium advice, and aquariumadvice.com came up, and I eventually became a moderator there. So I kind of learned some things through forums that way. But then moving along real quickly, at a family reunion, usually you have your brothers and sisters there. These are people who, man, they're going to tell you the truth. You don't look good in that outfit, but they're going to have your back. You know what I mean? These are the lifelong friends that you make in the hobby, through the hobby. People you want to talk to on the phone. You text them. You spend time with them outside of the hobby. And then at a family reunion, you have the kids. The kids are at the kids' table, right? They are those that are new to the hobby. They are in the new hobbyist forum. These are new people learning about the hobby. They're easily shaped. That's why the family has to come together and teach the kids. And then at a family reunion, you have tension, and I'm closing out here. My dad, he's been a pastor for my whole life. We've been at the same church for over 30 years, and he says I'm closing at least 4 times. And everybody knows it. When he says I'm closing, that means he's getting ready to quit his sermon. He says, I'm closing. Everybody looks at each other and snickers. And then he says it again and again. He says, how many closings is that? So I'm getting ready to get there. But in a family reunion, you have tension. When you get family together, man, you have tension. You don't agree with everything, but you still have family. And then finally, at a family reunion, you have love, okay? You have love. Families have tension, but more than that, they have love. And I believe that love conquers all. Love for the hobby, a common love for the hobby is that we all share a love for each other. So, my final remarks, and then I'll let you take over, is social media is a powerful tool that we are still learning after all of these years. There's good and there's bad. For the reefing community, though, we need to learn to use social media as a tool to bring one another closer, to teach, to learn, to share, to grow, and to advance the hobby. So choose your family wisely, okay? In real life, you can't choose who your family is. But in reefing, we have so many options and so many platforms to choose from. And that's what makes it so great, man. Like, if you're not into forums, that's cool. Because there's Scott on Facebook, man. There's Instagram. There's YouTubes and all of that stuff.
Yeah, no, and that's one of the things I got to say. Like, I love playing the platforms. You have a plethora of them. I mean, from TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram, and we could go on and on and on YouTube. One of my biggest things too, though, is really pushing the retailer on it. Like, I want to see the aquarium industry just so exceed because at this time right now, it's very easy for it to. Do you know how awesome fish are showing off corals? And I'm not just talking about reefing, I'm talking about the entire thing. I'm talking about aquascapes on freshwater. Even look at the guys with the big predatory fish, how much they're moving out on it. There's so many different ways of moving this forward. And if you're a hobbyist getting into it, really showing off what you created, sharing that. If you're a retail store, oh my God, you have so much content to share from everything, from being at this event. It could go on and on. Any retail stores here? How many again? Retail stores? Sweet. So I'll be using. How often what are you doing for videos? Do you do a lot of videos? What do you do for Instagram? What's your strongest point? Facebook Lives. That's it. Joe, what's yours? Yeah, you guys do all sorted. Photos. Always creating that something else, and certain things else. Especially when you're scrolling down platforms, right? You're on Instagram, you're going down, and you're like, Wars Aquatics has what on there? Oh, that is just, it catches you. You stop and you scroll. But those are constant like reminders. Like, you do some branding and you do marketing. It's 2 total separate things, but it's bringing it together, and it's just fun to get into that. And that's one of the things I really want to push, as many people just kind of share what they love, show your passion, right? And a lot of, like, I love when I saw the coral restoration, right? That was, I've never seen that. That was an awesome talk.
Yeah, it was.
And I love showing, like, people getting into it, showing their passion for it. They get into aquariums, okay? And that's what we do. We teach people.
Connect don't be afraid to connect, okay? Don't be afraid to get involved. Some of our most fantastic members, they're not the most knowledgeable about aquariums, but they're the most welcoming and friendly. If people feel appreciated and wanted, then they're going to keep coming back. That's good for the industry, you know, and in any hobby for that matter. But people want to be wanted and want to be valued. And so just choose somewhere to get plugged in to reefing and social media. And that's what I would end it with. And
yeah, I'm good, man. I just feel
if
like
I could get your
it's about just
excitement, I would
telling a story. I feel like if you're going to get into it, you should tell the story. And what I say by telling a story, you post the beginning of your tank, and then you post later on how it's growing out, and then you're like, what is this browning everywhere? Why is this happening? But that's good content to share that off, because a lot of people are like, what is happening? You get into explain, then you show, all right, I got these snails, I got this cleanup crew, and you just keep building that, and then that helps out the next hobbyist and the next hobbyist. Same thing with the retailer. People want to know what's happening, how you're evolving, how you're moving, and it's fun to include them in on it.
Absolutely. People love to see from your side as well. You know, the regular public want to see how you do your thing. You know?
It's blessed.
Yeah, it's good, man. Peter?
Good. Big round of applause, guys.
Good job, man.
Yeah.
I am sure there are people that have questions, so let's try to control yourselves. But who's got a question for these two? Not everybody at once, please.
Don't be shy.
Right.
Why is he so loud?
Why does he move so much?
Does he ever stop?
I'm having a seizure watching him.
Scott, can you teach me how to max out?
Max out.
If you guys don't know, Scott has a company called Max Out Aquatics, and the name fits him perfectly because he is always maxing out.
Yes, he is.
Anybody else? Anything?
That's why we love you.
Got a fish tank mic?
Fish tank Mike?
Don't yell. People online can't hear. Don't be rude.
Make it TikTok.
Can you teach me how to make a TikTok?
I can't. Freshwater joking. I've seen you make TikTok. I know you know how to make a TikTok.
I really don't.
Yes, you do.
I need
I'm
to-
all about Instagram stories right now. That's my favorite. Like Instagram stories, I think that is like the best way of getting to people. Why? Because you're just putting yourself right there. And people are like, what is this weirdo doing? And yet they just keep coming back. Or even just going simple as just going live. Like that's like my all-time favorite thing to do. Like people must be like, what is this guy? In fact, let's just do it right now. Oh man, these are just awesome. We have Wi-Fi in this place, all we do. Wait for it, wait for it. Woo! What is happening, everybody? Guys, we are at the family reunion here in the Keys for the Waterbox event. Where's Rich? Where's Rich? There he is, hanging out right here on his phone. And I just want to let you guys look at all these people. You got industry leaders everywhere. You got my buddy, wait, who's over there? Oh, Peter Jake, he's hiding in the corner. We want to let you guys, we're having an absolute blast. If you guys haven't gone on the Waterbox Facebook, whoop, go on right over there. I'll hit a link right below. Timothy, what's up, brother? Go check out all the videos they've been posting nonstop for the next 24 hours. That's right. I'm not going to torment you the whole time, but I've got you now. All right, guys, I'm getting out of here. Keep on reefing. Woo!
That's how it's done, folks. Just that easy.
But it's just fun.
This is Scott in his natural habitat.
I got a question over here.
So this question for you, Scott. What is your daily goal on getting posts on social media? What would be
Oh
your...
man, you're one of those. That's all right. I understand that. So, it depends. So a lot of people, in all honesty, right? I try to post 6-7 times a day, right? But it doesn't mean that that's all going to be seen, right? In the new algorithm, you're not going to pick up every single person. So it's usually I try to mix up 2 videos. I try to mix up like 4 photos. What I really try to push in is Facebook Lives. Reason being is, for me personally, when we do like the Salty Alley and Freshwater Joe's on Wednesdays, it's fun, but I got them all included because what happens is I'm not here to, I want everybody included. I want everybody to see what everybody does. When you find an algorithm, right? And then that what helps really push it, moves it forward. And it's an absolute blast and people like seeing it. And some people, and you're not going to be for everyone, right? You're just not. I am very extreme. I'm very hyper. I am not for everyone, but that's okay. Like, I just want people that come into it, have fun, and absolutely love it. And you're gonna find what works for you, what timings work best. For me, best time is that photo you're gonna put it at like 6:30, 7 a.m. That's the first one somebody's gonna think. Lunchtime, and then 6, 7 o'clock at night. There was a reason why Waterbox moved their Waterbox Lives to later time. You know what I'm saying?
That's good. Good info.
Got time for one more. Mr. Sean Hale, coming over. Excuse me, pardon me. Excuse me, pardon me.
It's a two-part question. What is your favorite YouTuber, and what's your favorite aquarium show?
Wait, I'm gonna go with Crawfish 12G on this one. I know,
that was
I
easy.
did it because Mike was there. I couldn't help it. You didn't specify whether it was freshwater or saltwater. Oh, Mike. And what was the second one?
What is your favorite aquarium show?
I really do enjoy the aqua shells. They've really come a long way. I really like the way they move with it.
Shameless plug.
That was a total shameless plug. We all know it. Y'all know that.
That's okay.
All right, after that seated plan. Anybody else? One final question. We got time for one more. Make it a good one. Anybody? All right, here we go.
Being an LFS store, what would you say is your biggest challenge on the weekly basis?
Was that me or you?
Well, I'm not a
LFS.
local fish store owner.
All right,
Fish
but
store.
me, on a weekly
tell you.
basis? That's such a good question. Oh, man. There's so many challenges, right? You're mixing so many different personalities together. You have to go very personal with everyone. And you can't forget about all the people that help and support you, right? So, like weekends, for me, I love retail. Retail is my all-time favorite. Like, I love just working with people and showing them what's the best thing for them. I never worry about the sale now, right? I plan on the future. Or even if you sell something, right? If I sell them this setup, right? I have to tell them, all right, you need a full sun protein skimmer versus the like somebody that'll sell them like a hang-on back or a canister. And you have to tell them that this is never gonna work long term. It's just not. And you're being as upfront about it as things. You have to say, I am not gonna make that sale because I know what the long term is this and I want this on my conscience every day. Like I love, you're selling fish, right? We're selling animals that we love. I do not want to send an animal to its death. Be like, here you go. That's not why I do this. And that's why I also feel like the new industry has changed. I do not feel like, I feel like the new world of the aquarium industry is pushing towards people love this and they want to see it succeed and move forward into the aquarium industry.
Oh, one more. We need one more question. Tanya, could you ask me a question? That way I can have one question asked? Just one. Just ask anything. Like, what are we having for dinner? Anything.
What are we having for dinner?
Lobster rolls, probably.
There you go.
I just,
Guys, huge round of
wanted to get one
applause
in.
for these two. Two of my favorite people in the industry. Two people that helped me get to where I am. I wouldn't be standing on this stage doing what I do if it wasn't for these guys. So thank you guys for everything you do for the industry. If for some reason you do not have an R account, go sign one up. There's just so much content, knowledge, everything there. Like David, you know, it's a community. Soup to nuts, you can get it on there. And if you don't subscribe to Scott, if you need a daily jolt of human energy, subscribe.
I'm a real-life
You'll get
cartoon
it.
character.
The real life cartoon character. Huge round of applause, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, yet again, in a couple-minute break, go grab a coffee, some water, re-energize. We got some more epic talks coming up. Another legend in the hobby coming just up in a few minutes. So grab a quick